100,000, if not more, going to the gurus. One good rental every 2 months, right? And I'm not gonna worry about, because I was thinking about this, right? So I was like, okay, like if I look at my cash flow today, besides like the ones I started buying in the last, so in the last 5, 6, 7 months, whatever, I think maybe I bought about 25 properties, right? 20 something, right? So, and I'm like, why am I doing what I'm doing? What's the point of all of this? I like doing mastery, right? I like doing all the stuff that's related to mastery, right? But besides that, why am I doing anything else, right? The only other thing that I really believe in is cash flow. So right now, about 116 comes in a month, net, right? If I take the properties I own with, half of the ones I own with Rahul, and then some of the other stuff that I have, and then the ones that I started buying now, I'm not counting that yet. But I'm like, I wanna get that to 250,000 a month, net. So 250,000 a month,
Could you,
in-
could you-
Ours is, he's just got an extra, like
No, no,
Rahul
it's
said,
just
he goes,
that-
it's all the same, they just got more zeros.
More
it's just
zero.
more zero, but if I start thinking about it, because now with Airbnbs and with midterm rentals, right? The cash flow on some of them is high, right now, but we don't know if it's gonna last long term.
Right.
Yet, if we look at that and say, the average cash flow, like for me, is probably 1,000 to 1,100 net a month, right, per property. And I'm like, what my goal should be? Every month, every single month for the next 3 years, I wanna have 2 properties come online, full-time performing. Doesn't matter if they're Airbnb, doesn't matter if they're midterm, doesn't matter if they're long-term homes. If I did two, now, it's a ramp up, right? Because to have 2 performing properties added to the portfolio a month, what most people don't realize, you need 8 or 9 in rehab. I mean, you know how that
Right.
works, inventory, you need 5 or
Right.
6, 5 or 6 or 7 to be coming in to the pipeline, right? And like, now when I think about it, I'm like, why do we do so much activity if really the whole point is that we should just be adding stuff and just leaving it alone, right? Because once you have 2 coming on, 2 coming on, 2 coming on, 2 coming on, 2 coming
It's
on,
that snowball.
the effect, because like last year, I went to so many of all these gurus around the country, I must have spent 100,000, if not more, going to the gurus, right?
see what they're about.
No, I wanted
Just
to
to
see.
see, understand what they
you
can
know,
do. what
yeah,
they
man,
can do.
I'm going to, because these guys are talking about numbers that I don't even understand, right? They're like, how many deals do you do? 300 deals. 300, shit. Right? I mean, these numbers don't make any sense to me, but it's like, hey, net. What do you mean? Well,
I don't know
I mean, and I'm like, it doesn't matter the number of deals. What matters is what is your net cash flow? What is your bottom line? Right? Is all that matters.
That's all
And
that matters to
that-
me.
It's all that matters, right? And that's where I was like, because that is all that counts, is that as a teacher, you can earn 50, 60,000 a year, right? If you spend all of it, it's zero.
Zero.
I can make $1 million a year, if I spend all of it, it's still a zero. And both of us, and I'm broke at a higher level, because you can manage to live on a lower pay scale, and I can go broke on a bigger pay scale. So it's not how much you make, because you cannot compare with anybody
tenants like that.
who makes,
Yeah.
who
Make
make more or less.
$100,000 and they're a month behind on their rent.
Yeah.
Right?
It's all about the
It's all about cash flow.
It really is, 100%.
It's got, because that's where I think that's gonna be the change in mastery from now on. That guys, listen, let's just forget about all of this, because yesterday, I spoke with another guy that I follow up with every month, right? And now I've been talking to him for a year, right? So now he's up to $980 million in properties controlled, right?
Wow.
Oh, so he manages property.
Well,
Or he's on,
or it's a syndicator,
oh, yeah, syndicate.
syndicated,
Okay.
right? And so I'm like, what did you do last year? He said, man, we bought 300 more units. Like, great.
How's he making any money?
I'm like,
Him?
what is the net bottom line?
For him, I guess.
Right, net bottom line, what
Finder's fee, probably.
did you make last year? Right? $200,000-300,000. doing syndicate, where he's raising capital, which is great. What is your net bottom line? If you drop dead tomorrow, what do you leave to your wife?
You had him in, one of your meetings, didn't you?
No, I
That
haven't.
syndicator guy?
Oh, I had one.
The other one,
Yeah,
yes.
the other
But then he's
And
same, his
and they
numbers
don't-
is.
He couldn't answer any of your hard questions.
No, my whole issue is that what are we competing against? See, we can't compete with each other based on what you do professionally. Because if one person is surgeon and one person is an Uber driver, the surgeon is always gonna out-earn an Uber driver. But net wealth-wise, the Uber driver
Could do
can
better.
have a better net worth than the surgeon.
Right,
Yeah,
And
better
that
quality
is
of life.
better, and that is what we can control. Because we cannot control what any of us does
right.
to run on a treadmill, because the Uber driver is never gonna be a surgeon. That's just a fact of life after a certain age, right? That you get into your 35, 40, you're not gonna become a heart surgeon. It's just not gonna happen.
Right.
If you're in your 20s, that's a different story. Then you have a lifetime of, but that's where a lot of times, I think, and now I'm like, man, when I'm looking at this whole thing, I don't think I need to look at anything else except one thing,
Cash flow.
go back to cash flow.
And you know, now I look back at it and regret like all the good houses that we flipped that we should have kept.
Exactly.
Oh, geez,
It's
you
the
know?
same old story, right?
But
We
you
had the same
know.
problem,
But
right?
if, but
In
if
back
you're,
in,
if you're
back in,
staring at $75,000 profit,
And you need it. You need
really,
it
I had the
bad.
same
we didn't even
conversation,
really need it, it was just.
same conversation with the mastery guy yesterday. He's getting a property and he can actually put like wholesale that for 100,000. It's a 4 flat property. I said, okay, what's your goal? Is that area you want to invest? Yes. You have properties in that area? Yes. Then why you're selling it? You're not gonna get the property again at that price which you're getting.
And you still
Ever.
have the equity in it.
And you can,
Like,
you
you
can
don't-
still do the project, put the tenants in there, and still get that money out on back end if you wanna just pull the equity, all the equity out.
Right, or
That's
keep
okay.
the equity, like you still own the equity, so it's
Yeah.
like you still got ahead with that, plus now you